but I guess that's the topic for today, is trying to figure out what the balance is between doing too much and doing enough to keep you happy. And I think that's why I wanted to bring it up, was because the last couple of weeks have been really hectic for me. And I went from that loneliness, nothing, to just so much. And I'm handling it okay. But it's an interesting thing. It's like once you're amongst it, you want to get away from it. But when you're not in it, you're
You
looking for
want it
something
more.
to strive against, to like work towards and to fight for,
Yeah.
as opposed
Yeah.
to just coast. So I guess that's the kind of thought that I'm having at the moment. He's going, wow, I'm clearly got learning to do. I always go with extremes. I'm never like an inch at a time kind of guy. And so my biggest learning is to just, even though I feel like I don't have a lot on, to not just keep taking on more and getting super excited. Yes, I can do it. And I've got a long way to go with that, because I guess we're always trying to get better.
Yeah. No, I think no is an important word. Like, I think learning how to sort of cut things out or say no to people or commitments, I think like that, like to your point, like where, like, you know, what you kind of want more, but then you kind of figure out where to balance and you go, okay, that's too much, or I need to say no to that obligation or that person or that thing. Or yeah, it's such a funny balance, or it's where you kind of want to push yourself and you kind of want to dig deep into the journey of you know, towards a goal, or you know, or like a, and yeah, but it's, you know, we always talk about the journey being the more pleasurable part, the thing that you long for, rather than the outcome. And I guess to your point, the more stressful you can make the journey, perhaps sometimes the more rewarding it can become. But like where, yeah, there is a breaking point at some stage in that journey. And I think like you definitely, I think like breaking point changes though between seasons. And I guess you've got to, like, for example, like, so I get up really early these days to go to the gym, and I never could have done that. Like, I didn't think I could have done that. I'd never thought I could be the kind of person that gets up at 4:30 in the morning to go to the gym, but I have been for most of this year, and it's definitely sort of changed, like, I guess my productivity in the day, and it's definitely added another layer of, let's say, stress, or yeah, it is a bit stressful trying to get to bed, get enough sleep, get up early, get to the gym, you know, not fall asleep by 11 o'clock in the morning. um, so yeah, I think it's this like learning when you can push yourself and find a new level, so to speak, but at the same time figuring out when you need to pull back a bit. And yeah, I haven't figured out when to pull back as well.
How do you feel? I think the gym is an interesting one, because that's a chosen suffering. Like, I love my chosen
Yeah.
suffering. I feel like a badass, like, in a funny way, actually. I love my dietary stuff, obviously, health science, food science stuff. I think it's so cool. But what I love even more than that is discipline. And so, like, part of me saying no to the stuff that I say no to is because I want to feel like, yeah, I've got control over what's going on. So it's like a controlled suffering, and that gives me a lot of pride. Or maybe, yeah, pride. I feel good about myself that I'm doing that. But lately with it almost, I think it's got to do with anxiety, but I feel pretty patient, feel pretty peaceful. I can't eat the food. I just can't eat anything fried. I don't know if it's a subconscious thing or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. But anything outside of the realm of the things I have deemed in the past as healthy, if I have a little bit of it, the repercussions are severe. Like, I went out to dinner and vomited everywhere after we went to like 3 courses of like good food. Some fried chicken and bao buns came out, and it was just literally as I took the bite. So it's like, I think I bring it up because I'm like, that annoys me a bit. Like, I'm stoked that the outcome is good. I'm eating healthy. I can look after myself, and I know what to do. So, you know, that's a good, but it's not the same writhing against the urges. And so that's an invoked, that's something I didn't have a choice over now. And that has changed how I feel about that suffering. So I guess the question is, the gym is one suffering, but how does the work correlate with that? How does all these other things combined with that suffering and compared to it. So
it's funny, like that sort of concept of suffering, like it's almost as if that, like, adding in, for me, I feel this sometimes, like adding in the sort of extra suffering in inverted commas, right? Let's say the gym is your extra suffering or your choice that you're trying to suffer through. It kind of helps the things that that you don't necessarily like. So, for example, like, okay, work is stressful and people are shit and things like that, but I feel I'm maybe coping a little bit better at work and dealing with that suffering a bit better because I add more suffering, so to speak. I don't know. Does that kind of make sense? Like,
no, it does. It does. It's like one pain will hurt a bit, and then the pain that's a little less or similar next time you're kind of used to it. So
yeah, it's like, and I think there's a level of, like I said, pride is a bad word, but level of like self-respect that you gain when you put yourself through things like that. Like if it's, restrictive dieting and eating healthy, or if it's gym, or if it's self-discipline in some way, then there's like this level of self-respect that you can take into other sufferings and other difficult situations, that you kind of like get to stand up straight with your shoulders back, to use a phrase from Jordan Peterson, a bit better, like, because you've added more to your world, so to speak. You've added more suffering, and like sometimes I walk into work really confident because, all right, like I got up early in the morning, went to the gym, like I had a good workout, like I had my healthy protein shake, like I'm ready to go today, rather than like falling out of bed, scrolling on my phone, having a mocha and eating a bagel and sitting down at 9:30 at the desk, like wondering why I feel like shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just a different, but arguably, like the person that gets up earlier is going to be more tired and more worn out and have more stress to deal with. But versus the person who gets up at 7 and kind of fumbles their way over to their desk or work, like there's so much more, I guess, purpose in the entered into suffering, so to speak. Like, I mean, to your point, like there's this quote, I forget who said it, but I hear it. Like I have this speech I listen to sometimes, and it's got Conor McGregor said it, and it's sort of on the lines of like I've given up, like I've sort of chased my dream in the process, I've lost my mind, and or like I've sort of given up I've given up my mind or my sort of body to the normalcies, so to speak. So like to your point, like you've given up your body to the like ability to have a quote unquote normal dinner, right? You by sort of going through this additional suffering by pushing your body to eat in a certain way. Like I've given up on watching TV at night because I need to be in bed by 8:30, otherwise I can't get up at 4:30 in the morning. Or like
which is an excellent
giving up on which is
byproduct.
perfect. Like
getting up early solves the TV issues, doesn't it?
100%. But I think like the point, you kind of lose your life and you gain it back at the same time, so to speak. You lose your life to what people would consider normal, but you gain back more in that suffering. I
think so. I think I love thinking like when I always question my decisions when I'm going the same way as everybody else, because if you look at like what is normality, or whatever the right word is, what is normal? You go like stumble out of bed, bagel, coffee, question life. I think that's an easier way. It's definitely an easier way to live. You're just going with the flow. You don't have to question or think. You kind of go, oh, this sucks, I'm going to deal with it. Maybe. Or I feel as though maybe the perspective is that what you're taking is, it's an intentional step. You know why you've made that choice. You know what you're doing. You've thought about it. It's responding, you're not reacting. And I think like the second you go in the same way as everybody else, you got to kind of go, well, I'm not going to be any better than anybody else or do anything different. Let's not even say better. I'm not going to be anything different.
I think different's the right thing. I think
And if
Yeah,
that's what you
100%.
want, you need to make active choices. And yeah, you're right. Those active choices create complexities because you have to question it while you're doing it. At times, you see what is normal, and
Yeah,
people. Like,
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
eating avocados at work, and they're like these like unhealthy people were paying me out. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, yeah.
I guess it's just the way your priorities lie, and I think something about you and me that I haven't seen in anybody else, which is this strive for excellence. And like, I wouldn't even say excellence because I'm not a detail person, because I see excellence as like everything's perfect. Maybe it's striving for improvement,
I think
betterment.
it's. I personally think of it as significance. I think there's some significant complex that we both seem to have inherited, where it's like I sort of call it chasing significance in my mind.
Yeah.
Uh,
Significance
yeah,
complex.
yeah,
I've never heard
uh,
that. That's cool.
uh,
It sounds hilarious.
yeah. So I said to my psychologist pushed me once. One day I was talking to him. It's like, what do you want? And I was trying to like verbalize it, and I ended up saying to him, I just want significance. It's like, okay, there we go. Like that's a good answer. Like, because I was sort of saying, I think I was talking to him about, like, you kind of want to balance having a complex life with having a simple life.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can have, you think about it in lots of different ways, but like a significant life is probably emotionally complex, even though perhaps it's simply put together, right? Like you might have a simple focus, you might have a simple job, or like you might have a simple goal in life. So, all right, I need to, okay, let's say I want to make Glowface a book and a success and whatever it is. Okay, that's just somewhat simple, but the journey to significance is going to be emotionally complex. People will criticize you. You have to justify yourself. You got to push really hard. You got to do all these things. And so, yeah, I think, yeah, to your point, it is a significant complex. It's interesting, like you sort of say that. Like I caught up with some school friends on the weekend. I went to their house. There's a couple of boys who sort of live together in Darlinghurst or something, like a 4-bedroom flat and things. And I got there and they just live different lives, hey? Like they just like they we all sat down and played PlayStation. And I picked up the controller and I put it in my hand. But oh my god, I haven't touched a fucking controller. like I could not remember the last time I picked up a PlayStation or Xbox controller. But this was their life. This was all right. They did this every day. They all had games. Another guy came over and brought another guy like another PlayStation game. Like, oh, you're gonna play this game? Like shit, we're all still 30 and we're all still like sharing like discs and things. Like,
Yeah.
like I didn't know this was what we still do, but like this is what they do. And like, and they're just like one of the boys. And they're all great guys, and they've all got their own strengths in different ways. Like a few of them travel heaps, and I admire the fact that they can. Like one guy went to Africa for 6 weeks by himself. I'm like, holy shit, I could never do that. That's insane.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. But like,
Yeah.
but it's just it's this sort of different perspective. It's this sort of like experiential focus, right? On perhaps in their desire for suffering. So maybe it's a different perspective. But at the same time, in the day-to-day life, there's this kind of, I think, in your chase for significance, there's this sort of constant trying, I think. And I think back to like the original question, like how do we balance I guess constantly striving for significance or constantly trying, and then perhaps sometimes finding the line. Like I think that's clearly other people don't have as much of a complex perhaps as we do, but it's a hard one to figure out. I don't have an answer to it for sure, but
it's tricky, isn't it? It's like, I think when I hear what you're saying about your friends and then that contrast, and I often see other people, and I project my things I'm worried about onto others. Like if I see somebody being like sloth-like, I get annoyed, particularly if I care about them. I get really annoyed with them. Like not at them, but in my head, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and that's me worrying about myself with it. But
yeah.
you taught me something too with like pretty sure it was you. Like, Dad will sit and watch TV at the end of the day for hours because he deserves it.
Yeah,
And that's
he's satisfied with it.
he's
Right,
found his significance in the tasks that he does. And I think I struggled with heaps of that. Was just going, I had to write down those affirmation statements for ages just to kind of get in my head, like, I am enough, I am great, I am like, what was the word starts with C, but basically the same kind of stuff, like
content or something.
Content, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, and I've been trying to like think about the idea of that I'm already that which I seek. Like, I am
That's
already,
cool.
and I'm just I don't know enough about it yet to really understand it. But I think it's just kind of going, like, how do I define greatness? Is it defined by others, how they view me? How do I define my significance? Is it defined by what I have or what I do? Or is it just a choice? Is it my choice, like happiness?
Yeah, like what's and again, it's a bit like the journey and the outcome, right? Like what's.
And I think what you said was really, like, I think I always like the idea of making us more prepared for the shit that comes up, and like the stresses, and being more able to deal with them. I think
Yeah.
I get confused with the ideas that, oh, why do I feel stressed? Or why is this stressful? I thought I would be, because of all the other things I do, just like you said, build up a tolerance for the stress, and it wouldn't be stressful. I can just bounce it off me, but that's not the case. It's much
I
more
think.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, like it is a bit of a stress tolerance exercise, right? Like, I mean, Jordan Peterson writes about this a little bit. I quite like it. Is sort of this concept of taking on responsibility is one of the best ways that you can combat chaos in your life. He always talks about chaos and order, and then your ability to accumulate responsibility and sort of take on the weight of your life and what it means to be you as a human. Then that helps your ability because like shit will happen, like things will enter into your world that will bring you down. You will have shit people at work, you will have fights with your friends and family, you will have days where you just don't feel like doing anything, but it's those like responsibilities that it's the burdens that you carry that allow you to help you get through that suffering, if you will. I think that's, to me, that's a huge learning I've learned in the last few years. Like, it's okay, like in the same sense that you kind of want to find a balance. It's okay at the same time to be willing to take on responsibilities to confront the chaos.
Yeah. Do you find? I get I question the idea sometimes that the responsibilities that I'm taking on are just distractions. And I think that's the difference between the bagel and the mocha in the morning. And whilst even the fact that you make the question around, is this what I'm doing, like, in my nature? Is this that, in line with what I want in my life? I think that makes a big difference.
I think, if you can feel like you're at least me, like if I can feel like I'm at least trying in some capacity to make decisions that aren't sort of, let's say, bagel or mocha orientated, then that is a big thing for me. Like, there's this song that I've actually listened to, like, it's probably the song I've listened to so much this year. It's just called Trying, and it's a rap song, but it's like, it's got so many good lyrics in it. And like the first all he says is he keeps like saying the different ways he's trying, and in the first two lines is like trying to be content whilst trying not to be complacent. And it's like this, it's just a sort of contrast, like trying to stay like grounded whilst I'm trying to make it, right? Like it's this sort of balance that we always say, like, trying to stay motivated, my motor's waning. Like, trying to, like, it's this sort of, strive, but be content, and, don't get complacent, but also be happy with what you've got and be in the moment. But, also plan, like, it's just kind of this balance. And like the whole song is about balance, I think, effectively. But it just resonates with me because I feel as if this, like, it's just this sort of constant trying, in my sense, I think, trying to chase significance, and not, but like being okay with it as well. Like I don't know, more and more these days because I am getting tired a lot. But like, is a part of me that's okay to be overtired, I think, at the same time. Like, I'd rather be doing
see how that
not
bleeds
doing
in.
shit.
That's true. I think you got to see how that bleeds into your relationships. Like, it's easier for me to sacrifice heaps because I don't have people that are dependent on me. Or if I sacrifice too much, I watch the people that are closest to me, I get angry at, or they're distancing themselves from me. Like, oh, wow, what am I sacrificing for what? Because you can't define significance. Like, can you? And if you can, then that's where you want to be. So, I'm there. But then that ends, you become complacent. So
yeah. It's such a, it's such a balance, and I like, I started thinking about this early in the year as well. Even when I wrote my goals for this year, I remember we sat down and talked about this a while ago. I had this quote from Will Smith, how he I read his biography start of the year, and it's actually quite a good story. I think you'd like it. You probably resonate with it too, because it feels like a very similar personality to what we've been through. And he's definitely seems like a guy who's constantly trying and constantly striving. But he kind of makes his point in his book at some stage where he's like, sometimes resting is just as powerful as doing something. Sometimes stopping is just as powerful as going, and that's something that I tried to do this year. I definitely haven't figured it out yet. Is figuring out when when stopping is just as powerful as going, or more powerful, right? Like it's a better thing for you to do to stop rather than go. And like, I've got no idea where that line is, but I think it's a very true point. Like, sometimes in chasing for significance and striving and constantly trying to be more, that the best way for you to try is to stop trying.
Definitely. How do you find then, I guess, in your world, what's your cathartic release? Like, what's just this pure, just okay, chill, thank goodness, or this is easy, in that light, in the light of what Will was saying?
Like, I've only got one thing, and I watched 20 minutes of a YouTube show with PTI. I still watch PTI, the two old men yell at each other on sports topics.
I still tell people about that.
Interruption.
And there's a bell, and they keep talking after the bell, and they're just yelling at each other. Yeah. Why have it? But like, do you see? I mean, I see the gym. I see that gym as pure. Yeah. Like, I'm nowhere near as happy as I am when I first start warming up at the gym. Like, I am fucking elated. Like,
like 100%. Like, we've been doing. I couldn't agree more. Like, we've been doing like assault bikes for the last 2 weeks on a Wednesday morning, and we're doing like you kind of intervals, but you sort of did like, we did like 1 week did 2-minute intervals, 3-minute intervals, next week we did 6. And like, there's a few moments where, and you kind of try to keep a pace the whole time, and like you get to the last interval, and you kind of like in the last 2 minutes, and it was, I mean, even like this week, even like the last week, so we got to pick some songs, and it was a 6-minute interval, and the last song that came on for the last 2 minutes was Guerrilla Radio. I told the coach to put Guerrilla Radio on by Rage Against the Machine. Yeah. And so like the last 30 seconds, when the chorus dropped, I just banged it. Like, I just went so hard, and like Guerrilla Radio is dropping, and everyone's screaming at you, and like I am in agony. Like, I'm just cramping, my legs are full of lactic acid, like I can't take my breath, my heart rate's at like 190, and I'm just banging it. But like, the highlight of my week. Yeah. Like, no question about it. Like, and even this week, like we had a 10-minute test again, hold the cadence for 10 minutes. Last 10 minutes, like the last minute the fittest, biggest guy in the gym standing next to me, yelling at me for a fucking minute, just like, just fucking go, and then we had Bleed It Out was playing by Linkin Park again, same guy, just fucking hammered it for like the last minute, got off, and like my legs started seizing up, I couldn't walk. But again, like absolute highlight of my fucking week. But it's just it is like, which is such it's this complex where it's like I want more of those moments where I'm absolutely exhausted.
I think too, like separating the mind and the body like that is so blissful. Like there's no better way to shut off your mind than when you're screaming physical pain. Like then they just like solve this problem right now. Through this problem.
Just don't stop. Just don't stop. Like
I love that you're talking about the music stuff too, because I feel like I know for sure that I am so like sound sensitive. Like just I get tingles and hair stands on edge all the time, and I've been doing a bit opposite. Like even just sounds of things. Like just super sensitive, and I'm so happy about it. And so like what I've been doing lately, it's what my move is when I'm really stressed is, so I don't end up getting as high heart rate, but I sit on a treadmill and I put house music on, and I've got like. So call me kind of stuff. And I was saying like, this is it. This is pretty cool. And I stop, the hairs all stand up, even just talking about it, my hair stand up on it. And then start the treadmill about 5Ks, maybe 6Ks, and then I will start to dance while I'm walking. And I do it, but I do it slowly because I think of it like I want to be mobile and have really good balance in my life.
Okay.
So I'm like, if my ankles are going to be good, so I'm sidestepping on it and moving around in a circle, and I'm trying my balance out. And that's at least what I believe, but that's irrelevant of that. I have so much fun dancing on that treadmill to myself up at the top of the gym. There's people around, but I try to do it so it's a bit subtle. But when no one's around, I really love getting into it. And I'm pouring with sweat too, because like it's a way better workout. My body's looser, and I just love to dance. So it's like that was my highlight of the week. You know, I did it and I'd never walk for like 20 minutes. But that's another banger. Oh, I got to do this. That's it. That's the one.
What's coming?
Buddy.
The drop's coming. Yeah.
What move can I do here? Is this gonna work? Oh shit, nearly ate it. No, keep going. There's a camera right behind me too. I hope these fuckers can see this. And so,
I think that's the thing.
That's
like
a pure highlight, you know.
The highlight of your week will never be the mocha and fucking bagel you have every morning. It's like. It's never going to be that. It's going to be the moment when it's when you're trying your hardest, and you're striving towards something, and and you're just in a place, I don't know, place of suffering. You're probably not in a place of suffering when you're on the treadmill dancing, but like
it's difficult.
You are, and you. It is difficult. Yeah. It is. I'm not saying it is, but
it's scary. You know, it's confronting. You're at a gym and all that.
It's definitely the moments when you're working hard and you're suffering that's going to be the highlight of your week.
And I find that in contrast to all the other suffering, when you go and you do that thing, you're like, while you're doing it, I think it works two ways. You're going, I'm dealing with this suffering outside of life. This is pretty fucking sweet compared to the other stuff. Like people hate this. Like, I'll give them something to rage against. Like, I think that's my contrast too. It's like now the gym is like the best part of the day because the rest of it is I'm like, okay, this is real hard. Like I have a choice, and that's chosen suffering. Where I feel
like to your point before, controlled suffering, right? You're choosing this, right? I think that's like. You're going.
I was going to say is that I think that it's. The question I get at the end of the day is like, you brought up a while ago when you're saying like, what's the purpose of doing the work for me, I guess as an example. And the purpose for you is different for me. And I think when I do my chosen suffering, I know the purpose behind it. Sometimes when I'm doing other suffering, like work particularly, I'm like, what am I doing here? Why am I here? Like, I don't have anybody depending on me. I just want to make my life better. Like I'm never going to feel like it's done. Yeah. And like I keep wanting to sell this unit at Cogra, and mom and dad are like, no, don't. And I feel partly obliged to listen, and because they're older, and they know, I guess they've been through it. And I'd also hate to sell it and then be like, oh, if you held it for 10 years, just look how much more it would be. I don't want to deal with that over the next 10 years. But I just want to be liberated from this loan. I want to be liberated from sitting here and having to work. And I'd like to have, flexibility to go and do what I want to do. But then you get scared that that's going to lock you into something else even more severe. So it's like better the devil you know. I don't know. I think that's what gets my thoughts. Yeah.
Oh, the grass is always greener, right? Like, you think about what life would be like. Yeah, if I had more free time, or if I was, maybe you think about if you finish psychology, you're gonna be a psychologist. Like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to help people and talk to people. And it's like, maybe you get to the end of the day talking to 8 people about their problems. Like, shut the fuck up, get over it and go home.
I thought exactly that last night. I was talking to Mum about it. I'm like, man, can I do this all day? Like, this is really hard.
Exhibit A, our mother. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
yeah. I hope far out. I hope you're a special case.
Yeah, for sure. I this probably gets a bit too existential, but like this is one of the problems I have with the idea of heaven as well. Is like, it's just this place. Like, we always pitch to us as kids, like, it's a place of no suffering and happiness, and like you're just kind of like enjoying being there. And it's like, I don't want, like, if there, I do think there is a forever, like, or our next life, but I think whatever is in that next life will feel very similar to this life. And in the same sense, I think there will be some level of imposed suffering. You can make yourself suffer, like, and what do you, like, to your exact point, like, what do you want your life to look like? How do you want it to be a little bit different? And for me, like, I think, no, I always want to have some level of controlled suffering in my life. I always want to go to the gym. I want that so bad. And I don't want an eternity where I can't do that. That's not my ideal. Like, I want an eternity where I can push my body and find a new limit and have those moments where the song drops. Like, yeah, that's what I want, but that's not la-di-da. That's like, that's fucking hard. And I want difficulty. And I think, like, and I've taken this sort of mentality as well recently in the gym, where it's like, it's something, it's a bit, I don't know if it's a bit dark, but you never know when, like, it could be your last session. Like, I could finish the session and, someone could T-bone me, hit my car, break my leg, I could never go to the gym again. Like, for me as well, like, I've hurt my knee, and my knee, like, I can't do the things I used to do at the gym. I can't clean and jerk 100 kilos anymore. Can't squat what I used to squat. Like, when is it the last chance you'll be able to impose that control? Like, one day we'll be 80, God willing. I can't go to the gym and do 10 minutes on a salt more, maybe, but, like, it won't be the same. Like, there'll be a day where it finishes and stops, and the controlled suffering isn't in your control anymore. And it's not as if it's going to be like freeing in some, like, I'm now free from the suffering. It's like, fuck, I'll miss that. Like, it might take a different shape and form, but there'll be a day where I look back and I go, you know what? I really miss getting up at 4:30 in the morning and going to the gym. Like, fuck, that was some good times. And so it's like, just, I had a shit job around it, or everything wasn't perfect, but you know what, that part of my day, like, that was good. And I think just, like, appreciating the fact that you're still healthy enough, or you're still in a place that's good enough where you can actually pick your suffering. And I just, and that's part of the reason why I struggle to let go of it, as I struggle to stop, because fuck, I don't want to stop, because I love it. And I don't know when it can go last time. And so I just want to go and be a part of it and enjoy it, because I just appreciate it so much. And but to the broader point of the conversation, that makes it really hard to stop.
Yeah, it makes it so hard to stop. I think that, I like what you said. I think it's really wise. It's like, when you look back on your life, the thing, you're not going to talk about all the times you were relaxing, and, like, the time you slept in, or the times, like, that 6 month stretch of really good night's sleep. We're instinctually inclined to notice difficult things, suffering things, things that will cause us pain or could bring us closer to death. And so, like, those memories are entrenched. And so the overcoming Like when you're 80 and you look back and say, yeah, do you remember how and when and we did? Like, yeah, that was sick. Like those are the adventures you remember much more. Like, and I think I've missed that a lot. I've had pretty cruisy, at least work life, for a long time, and I never really thought to myself, I'm like, like I don't want to, I don't like the idea of being like, oh yeah, we accomplished this project that's now been redundant. But I'm working in this security thing. Yeah, fuck that. And I've never worked harder, and I'm pretty unhappy, like compared to what I was a few months ago. Like I'm working 60, 70 hours, and it is rough. And it's just a mess. And I go to myself, but I'm working with Kerry, and now I've got this new project. It's a big deal, and I feel like it's important because I'm like, if we don't solve this exposure, it's 30% penalty of the company's income. I'm like, wow, that's like $1 billion, and I'm in charge of putting all the securities in place. And I was writing about it this morning. I'm like, as much as I hate IT, I do like significance, and I do feel like this is a pretty big deal for me to solve. And I'm like, that's a nice degree of pressure, and I feel empowered to do it. It only happened through the last 2 weeks of 70-hour weeks of working with international guys to try to organize these tests and realizing there's all these problems, and me like fucking ready to quit. I'm so over this, getting assaulted by these people, like people on our end, like what's going on, what's happening. And then as a consequence, I get pulled into an important meeting, like the CIO. And then they're like, we're going to do this and we need you to do it. I'm like, okay, I'm terrified. This is good. And then I can talk to Kerry about this because he's going on leave for 3 months too. It's like a perfect storm. So he goes on leave on Monday for 3 months. And I'm stoked to be able to go when he comes back and like, this is the journey, and like, look at what we've done. And yeah, it's going to suck. And if I fuck up, I'll probably lose my job. But at the end of the day, that's not the worst outcome. I don't really like it that much. So, I'm certainly not getting paid enough to do it. Because I told you, right? Like I had it set up as a secondary employer. I tell you this.
Really?
For all year. So I set up my money, it goes into a bank account that I don't see. Okay. And don't get notified, just goes in. And then every week I pay myself an allowance. So I'm doing that, living life, sticking to my budgets. And then every so often, maybe a month or so, I might have to look at that account to move money for a bill that I wasn't expecting. And I looked it up, man, it keeps going down really quickly. And it took me ages to realize that I'd put Deloitte as a secondary payer. So I was getting charged 49%.
Yeah, holy shit.
And the accountant didn't pick up on it. So it's been 6 months, and I get paid fucking monthly. So when I realized it was just after a cycle. So I feel stressed and broke, and I'm like, this is like as bad. And I don't have a home either at the moment. Cogra, like I was saying, Cogra is not available till fucking February. And if I go through this tribunal stuff, I'm like, man, and that degree of suffering, that degree of chaos gives me so much confidence out in the world. Because I'm like, not because I feel like as though I'm better. I just thought I'm doing all right with it. This isn't so hard. This engagement, me talking to the person for the meeting and engaging with other people, because I've already had that intense one with the CIO. The rest of them are fine. Every other meeting from that point on is okay.
Yeah, if you've done that, you can do it. Yeah, for sure.
I don't have a home. I'm staying at my parents' place potentially for like 4 months. I'm like, well, you know what? What am I going to do about it? Like, just going to roll with the punches. This is sweet. I feel broke as shit. I'm like, okay, if this is the worst situation that I've been in ages, I've lost like 100 grand in shares. So it's just all like, I love investing in the tech sector. It's fucking great. 90% losses on some of them in 12 months. But so I'm like, if this is, I guess I'm saying it out loud because I haven't thought about it too. If this is the suffering that's put me in the position that I'm in, this seems as bad as it can feel to me. But in the same breath, I have a job that does pay for that loan, a family that's supporting me, and and I'm healthy. So I'm like, okay, I still have, even once all it's stripped back, I still have support, even though I don't feel significant, even though I don't feel like the way I want to feel.
You have opportunities that would be to have some level of significance. Like you do feel, and I feel it too. Like in 10 years, both of our projects at work will mean fuck all, right? Well, everything that we do in our jobs this year will be dead and gone in 5 years, let alone 10, right?
Yeah.
But there is a level of significance that it does afford you, right, in your day to day, and it does feel contrived or cheap or shallow, admittedly.
Yeah.
But it does give you something to engage with, right? And I think to your other point, like, yeah, okay, the picture around me is chaos, right? There is all this shit going on, but the thing that's not going to get you out of the chaos is a bagel and a mocha. The thing that's going to get you out of the chaos is like, dig your fucking heels in, keep suffering, keep doing your psych degree, keep finding, you know, another way out or another opportunity or whatever it is, like, and that will. And then you have to believe that taking on responsibility is going to get you through the chaos. Otherwise, it's just, you know, otherwise what the fuck we're doing. But like, I honestly believe that's the way that you can get through it, and you know, and it's a way you can chase some level of, you know, non-cheap significance, right?
That is purpose to the suffering.
Yeah, and I think in that sense, like, you almost want to, the purpose to your suffering allows you to continue to control more areas of suffering, right? So, like, example, like, you know, your day-to-day job, there's suffering in that. It's not really controlled; it's more imposed. And same thing with me, like, you know, having to work for a bank is imposed suffering. Having to work for a accounting firm is imposed suffering, right? But the more that you impose other suffering on your life, the better chance you have to take back that time and redirect it to some other level of controlled imposed suffering. And that's the rewarding thing, I think, at least in my mind.
I think so too. I think, like, again, I was writing about it today, going, I've practiced suffering. I've practiced it intentionally. And now those things I've practiced, I've gotten good at. And so, and I'm suffering in work, I can't wait to go and meditate. Like, it's the best part of my day. Like, we're talking about cathartic, like, release. It's something, it was on a weird note. So I stopped the antidepressants about 6 weeks ago, and then everything crashes. So I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I'll roll with this. And I'm dealing with it really well, I think. But what happened was, when I stopped them, I started meditating more again, and I started journaling more again. So the habits that I had that helped me deal with life or myself came to light, and consequently, I found so much more of a desire to meditate, and it became a cathartic release to me. So it's like, because when I meditate, I'm not here. I am in some other, I'm just not here.
Yeah.
And it is the most relieving, relaxing thing ever. But before, when you first start doing it, it feels almost like an obligation. It's tricky. You have a lot of thoughts to fight over. And now the suffering has become like my foundation to my existence. If I did not have it, I don't know what I would do. How would I deal with the questions that come into my head and the resistance that I have to do the work, when I can just go, like, take a breath. It's okay. You know that this has a bigger picture. You know there's a plan. And I think that is what allows us to not do the mocha and the bagel, is making conscious choices, is responding, not reacting. And if I didn't have that, that meditation, it'd be very, really, really rough. But it helps me to be more relaxed about it, I think. I'm not as sweaty, I guess. That's probably the best way to think about it. Like, I feel like when my reaction is when I'm feeling tense, I start sweating, I get the Uncle Sil knee bounce, you know, like.
I think meditation is a great way to try to stop trying, so to speak. You know, they always talk, the Headspace guy always talks about just like accepting thoughts and being, you know, just letting it happen to you, feeling it, and I guess, I always sort of think about it as sort of, I don't know, trying to stop trying is the best way I can phrase it. So I think that's a great cathartic sort of way to find balance, is one of the ways that stopping becomes more powerful than going.
And I found lately too, as I sat there with my head in my hands kind of thing, and I was talking to Josh, and he's not always the most insightful person, but sometimes he's got some gems, and he kind of reminded me of something that I think I told him as well. And he's like, dude, and it's the same for you too. Like, you're at the foot of a mountain right now. Like, you've put in place the journey ahead of you. You know what's next. You can see the summit, and you are climbing it. And of course it's hard. Like when you get to the top, you are simultaneously conqueror and conquered. You are exhausted,
Yeah.
but you are relieved. And it is a magical journey to see. And it's just so close. It always feels so close. Like your book, like just on the precipice. It's just there, and it motivates you to do more podcasts. It motivates you to make it happen on YouTube and everything else, you know. And it's just so close. And that's a nice feeling too, to know that there is a path that's laid out that we're trying to accomplish, that the wheels are in motion, that the significance is being applied, and the suffering is with intention. We're going somewhere with it, but that I want it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
And that's the lesson,
I'll
isn't
share
it?
something with you.
Please.
We can maybe wrap up here.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I woke up one morning like during the probably 3 or 4 months ago, just grabbing something off my mirror that I stuffed up, and I wrote a poem. I don't write. This sounds really gay, but I wrote.
No,
a
it
poem.
doesn't at all, man.
It just kind of like came to me in the morning, called "Chasing Significance," and I'll read it to you because I feel like maybe it's relevant for today.
Thank you, Dave.
It's called Chasing Significance. It says, I'm chasing significance in the hope that I'll make a difference, that I'll justify my existence by constantly chasing significance. What does it mean to chase significance? That I might overcome some resistance, that I would demonstrate unwavering persistence while I'll continually chase significance. How do I know if I've achieved significance? That I've stayed the course and shown consistency? Or is it when I've stopped with the insistence that I must eternally chase significance?
Wow.
And thanks,
dude. That was lovely. Thank you for sharing that. That was really good.
And yeah, it's that kind of question where it's like it's this constant striving and chasing, but you like when is it? When is the mountaintop? When is the peak? When is the finish line? When do you know that you've have some level of significance? And I think anything I take from today's conversation is that maybe the significance is when you can start to control more of your own suffering, and start to, you know, even in the own suffering, you're still chasing significance, but perhaps the up the mountain is the more you can start to shape your day with your own suffering, so to speak, and take on responsibilities that in your own way that help you fight the chaos that enters your life.
Yeah, Dave, that was wonderful. I think that's a good way to finish.